Your love of the halfling leaf has clearly dulled your mind. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today we're going to talk about the best 3v3 basic teams. This is my only long form content that I do on this channel. I do it every month because I love the people who have smaller accounts as much as the next man. Maybe more. Probably more. But you guys don't get very many GAC videos, so I get to show you guys what I'm planning for my smaller account. My smaller account is not as small as it used to be, and that's a huge shame, but I'm not starting a new account, not yet at least, maybe one day. But we're going to talk about my reasoning behind the teams that I use, what I used last time, my philosophy behind all the stuff. There will be some timestamps involved. It'll be so fun, you'll see. If you don't want this noob crap that I'm spewing here, I've got 3v3 best defense teams and best offense teams. They're already out. You can find them linked in the video description, so go check those out. Also, check out my Patreon, guys. It is so fun, I bet. So, yeah, so thank you to my patrons, though. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Truly couldn't do this without you. You are all amazing. And if you want to support the channel for free, folks, all I gotta do is hit that thumbs up button. All you've got to do as well. We all have to, guys. I even like my own videos. How cool is that? Some may say childish. I say really awesome and cool, obviously. So let's jump into, whoa, that is madness. Oh, there we are. We're in the game now. This is my Prevail Man account, my alternate account. This is an account that I only spend a little bit of money on every month, though I guess my main account can say the same at this point. But this account is really cool. We're at 9.6 million. Gosh, because I keep buying the things I spend money on this account, folks, are Lightspeed bundles and the Conquest Pass, because the Conquest Pass helps make up for the fact that I only log into this account once per day. And I recently went through and got rid of, like, unfavorited, like 20 characters. So we can actually see the bottom of the list from here. It's amazing. It's a Christmas miracle. I didn't do it on Christmas, but it happened around Christmas, therefore making it a Christmas miracle. I have Jabba now, guys. I used to have only 2 Galactic Legends. I recently got Jabba, which is pretty neat. He doesn't even have his ultimate yet, which sucks so much. I can't even beat that new mission that they have. Well, it's not even that new these days, but you know, this ultimate journey thing. I get to sim the Kylo and Rey one. Awesome. You think I can even beat the Jabba one? I don't think so. It's wonderful. I'm so happy about that. So, anyways, this account is kind of strange because I have a bunch of Lightspeed bundles that I've bought. Not all of them, but I bought some of them. And I also have all of the Conquest characters at this point because I do Conquest the lazy way. You can find my videos talking about how to do Conquest the lazy way. And what that essentially means, I'll show you guys, I'll show you what it means. Just come into my van. No, I'm done already, actually. It's been, let's see, I'm recording this on a Monday, and I'm already done. So you get to Crate 5, as opposed to Red Crate is Crate 7. You go to Crate 5, and then if you're an overachiever like me, doing it the lazy way, which is obviously an amazing contradiction, then you get the Omicron at the node afterward. But essentially, you get the characters at a slower rate, but you eventually get them unlocked by the 6th time you do a conquest. So instead of unlocking them in 3 months, you unlock them at 6, but you keep them out of Proving Grounds, which is amazing. You can see Ezra is almost there, guys. We'll have him soonish. I guess if I really wanted to get him like 2 weeks early, which I don't really care about, I guess I could buy a few shards for him right now with the conquest currency that I have. Maybe unlock him a little early, but I don't care enough. So, anyways, that's what kind of what we're working with, folks. I am also in KYBER 3. Now, it was actually quite the challenge last season to stay in KYBER 3, even with all the squish stuff. For a long time, I was in KYBER 2, in fact, with this account. And then, with all the squishing and nonsense involved there, we got moved down to KYBER 3, and I actually think I got kicked to KYBER 4 like once or twice, but you can see we have a slightly, it's not healthy exactly, skill rating, but we're in KYBER 3. I'm consistently paired against people with 8 Galactic Legends, probably going to go up to 9 kind of soon, which is not the greatest. But I'm able to beat these guys with off-meta counters and just good, solid, fundamental play, which is why I feel empowered to make a video such as this. So let's look at the defense, guys, and then we'll look at a couple datacrons, and we'll look at the defense. So, what am I doing on defense right now? What did I do last time? It's a great question, guys. Thank you so much for asking. So we've got Amalgus team on defense now. The idea here, folks, isn't to just overwhelm our opponents with really strong teams. Like, some of them are going to be fairly strong. Some of them not so much, but what we want to do is confuse them a lot and make them overpay for things and make them drop some fights so that when we do have a good, solid offensive set of teams, we can beat them with efficiency and actually full clear. Now this is kind of has a wrench thrown in it because I really need Leviathan. I don't have it, and anyone who has Leviathan can kind of beat me already. So I'm trying to compensate with this by fastly and quickly farming the punishing one. But we're not going to talk about fleets, guys. It's a sore subject with me. Leave it to say, something, just let me say that, suffice it to say, there we go. I did it. I found the phrase I was frantically searching for. Suffice it to say that Leviathan is kind of just our it's our kryptonite. It's the thing that sometimes we can win, but if people put it on defense and they can clear our fleets, it's a very challenging situation. Now, I do have Profundity at 6-star, and it's doing okay on defense, so we're just leaving it there, keeping Executor for offense. Okay, so we've got Ray here. I think this is Cat, right? We're actually going to do something maybe a little bit different this season. I haven't totally decided yet. I'll show you guys what my thoughts are, though, obviously, because that's what this video is for. But we have CLS. CLS, if we can get the C3PO level 9, that'll be pretty good. Let's see, we had Ray there. We had this Koth team isn't going to be good anymore because that was Datacron dependent, and as you can see, that Datacron evaporated. And the Ewok team, we could put a Datacron on the team now. It's exciting. So we'll keep doing that. So you can see we're doing a mix of like pretty tough teams and then just and confusing teams like that one, which actually ended up being fairly strong. But we just want people to make mistakes in KYBER 3 and lower. People make a lot of mistakes. I mean, people make mistakes in KYBER 1 as well, but they have the rosters to kind of bail them out. In KYBER 3, sometimes they still have the roster, but they may not have the GAC acumen to do it. So, yeah, we're putting some tough-ish teams that'll steal some banners. This Quadme team in the back really can mess with people in a big way. We have the budget version of Fin Zori, which is Fin Poe, and yeah, just mostly stuff that's not gonna hamper us on offense. And then, of course, yeah, this Rex Fives team is not the greatest because we don't have relics on Rex. This is a very serious Ewok team, guys. Oh, you guys can't see it. It's very serious, though. It will seriously inspire your opponent to get a really good score on it. Qui-Gon, yeah, so just some randoms here. Like, this team is total trash, and it's better to put total trash down than something you may end up being able to use significantly. Now, of course, this kind of team is the type of team that's going to let your opponent use, like, a Wampa or something and get perfect points against, and that is absolutely regrettable. Maybe we'll try to swap it out now that we're at 9.6 million. We may have the right teams to be able to shut some of these down, but I would rather take some teams that your opponent has to pay too much for or risk just losing really bad at the top level, and then having some easy teams that they don't have to plan for that much. I would rather have them have multiple fails against some of the middle teams and then just get wins against easy stuff than just them running through all of our defenses or not having enough ammunition for offense, which is a real issue. We need 15 teams to be able to beat 15 teams, and a lot of times we're facing people with 2 or 3 or 4 million more GP than us, and it's very challenging to beat that many teams, which is why we go a little bit lighter on offense. So how do we beat these guys, you ask? Well, it's 3v3, so there's going to be some people who don't want to be bothered. They don't like 3v3, and they're like, well, I would beat you in 5v5, and they would. That's what the narrator says. They would. But otherwise, it's 3v3. It's time for them to take a break, right? The well-earned rest. So you get to win by default. And honestly, let's all be grateful for situations like that. Otherwise, the other way we win is the thing that separates us humans from animals. We use datacrons to beat them. How do we use said data? Oh, we do have the C3PO cron. I thought that was just on my main. Now that's cool. So we'll put this on defense for sure with CLS. But we use datacrons, and that's about it. Datacrons make a big difference in GAC, and you don't have to spend money to get a good amount of datacrons. So that's where we're at right now. After a week's worth of farming and getting crate 5, we're at 4 datacrons. Hopefully I'll get another 4 by the end. Probably another one on top of that, actually. It's a tricky business, though, trying to get enough datacrons, especially in 3v3, because 3v3 is always the season that your datacrons got scrapped the season before, so you're always scrambling for new ones. Alright, let's talk about teams here, folks. 3v3 KYBER 3, cool. Let's do the zoom in option here, shall we? There we are. Okay, so I'll just be going down the line here, telling you guys where I go, what I do with these things, what I'm thinking about. So Supreme Leader Kylo has been super vital lately, trying to kill the Night Sisters, Great Mother's teams, trying to kill like Leia, trying to take out Jedi Master Kenobi. And if you're doing that, sometimes you'll want Crew and Hux. Sometimes you'll want Old Daka and Zombie. The character that's one of the coolest in the game is Zombie. One of the coolest characters in the game is Zombie. And the funny thing about that is the character that CG probably regrets making the most ever in this game is probably Zombie. Like, Old Daka and Zombie go really well with Kylo, and they don't interrupt our other plans with Night Sisters, which we'll discuss later. So sometimes we'll just throw them with him, and then you can put Kylo Ren unmasked with like your Seer Malicos team or something like that, and Hux can get placed on the bench, never to be seen until 5s. So, and sometimes not even then. So definitely keep Kylo for offense, just because you need them to beat Great Mothers, you need him to beat Jedi Master Kenobi. Though actually now that the Jedi Cron is gone, we could probably start using Bo-Katan Mandalore to take out Jedi Master Kenobi, which we did a lot, actually, last 3v3, when they weren't using the Jedi Stun Cron. So, anyways, takes out a lot of stuff. He's your insurance against like Leia teams, which are good, and they're going to be pretty good this season as well, since Rebels got a good Datacron set. It's a mess, guys. It's a whole mess. Rey, we're probably putting on defense, folks. Though the twist to this is we were using Cat. And Commander Zo-Kotano's nice because she adds to the stats on Rey and Ben by a lot. Gives them a lot of extra offense, gives them a lot of extra hit points and defense. It's really strong. She's really strong with them, and I might end up doing that again. But Cat can be used with like Padme and other teams on offense. One thing that we don't use, who kind of gets underused anyways, this in 3v3 is, well, we normally use Cat. We can use Fulcrum, though, guys. Commander Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum has a really fancy Datacron. Now, if you don't get the Datacron, she's not going to be that good here. But, and honestly, if we're being realistic, if your opponent consistently uses Starkiller or Malicos to beat Rey, I'm not sure if Fulcrum will beat them. Still, at least not in threes. But she can make a good run of it, and she can confuse your opponents quite a bit. Anyway, she's an UFU, so the UFU Cron translates well with Rey and Ben. You guys saw, I don't have it yet on this account. I don't know if I will get it before lock. Hopefully we'll get it. That's one of the priority Crons to be working on. And I don't even have a Relic 9 yet, even though she is required for the new Galactic Legend. I'm not that close to getting the Galactic Legend on this account, though, as you are probably just the most surprised about. Being a 9.6 roster that doesn't spend money that much except for on ridiculously good deals. So, anyways, next we've got Jabba. I'll put him on defense eventually, guys. As you can see, I just applied the Omicron on Chrysanthemum. That's pretty cool. Jabba, I mean, and I got him to Relic 7. That's not bad either. I'd like to get Boosh up to Relic 7 or 8 if I can, and Jabba Chrysanthemum up to 7 or up to 8 if I can as well. And I'd like to get his ultimate, and I'd like to get at least one more Zeta, if not both of them. It's a work in progress, guys. Yeah, and he doesn't have his ultimate yet, so you know what? I probably will put him on defense, actually, because what do you use to kill Jabba without an ultimate? Unless my opponents know how to use their Night Sisters. Well, even then, like, I actually don't know. I think that maybe I don't know. I'll probably put him on defense, actually, just to make people. They'll probably use the same counter they would normally use on Jabba anyways, and he doesn't kill that much on offense. I need to kill some stuff. He's pretty strong on offense. Maybe I'll just do it, though. That'll mess with people. I never know what to do in that situation. I think I'll do that. I'm like, wow, you have a weak Jabba. This Jabba is objectively one of the weakest Jabbas I've ever faced. And I'm going to use the exact same team to counter him because I've devoted no time or effort into developing a counter to kill half-strength Jabba teams. So I think on defense he does okay. And then if they try to use something real dumb, they're like, I'll use Revan. Like, he'll just eat Revan, and it'll be okay tasting. I wouldn't imagine he's the best tasting. Like, Luke probably wouldn't be either. But, I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's move right along, shall we? Before I embarrass myself further. Malgus, I think we'll just keep him on defense, guys. I used to do this thing on this account. It's so sad, actually. I used to do the double Revan defense, which was just a really grand and stupid name for placing both of my Revans on defense in separate top and bottom zones and hoping my opponent failed on one of them. Now, my Jedi Revan team is developed to the point where I want to use them on offense, and Darth Revan has been supplanted by this upstart named Malgus, who somehow also has Relic 9 on this account, because he is an amazing character at Relic 9, and I would advise most people to do the same. However, this team is pretty good on defense. If you can find a good level 3 for them from the last Datacron set, like the Tank Revive one, can mess with people. So you go ahead and do that if you like. They're also really good on offense, honestly, guys. But we need something to stall our opponents out a little bit, and as our opponents get bigger and bigger rosters and the complexity of the teams that they are forced to face increases, we also need, we don't want to give them a vacation of a match, right? Like, we'll give them a couple easy fights, and then we want them to just assume that the rest of our teams are weak because of what they're surrounded by, like that really serious Tebow squad with a level 43 Ewok scout. Like, we want people to kind of be lulled into a sense of security by how superior they are, and then have to face some nonsense with, it's not like a Relic 4 Darth Revan is that great, but it's not totally ungreat either. Bo-Katan, shit, her stock definitely went up this 3v3 because the Jedi Crons are all gone. I love that her and the ancestral enemy of the Mandalorians are the Jedi, and I love that as the Jedi get weaker, Bo-Katan's squad gets stronger. That seems very very fluffy to me, like very lore centric, and it's true. We'll probably be hunting Jedi Master Kenobi squads with her, or maybe Lord Vader squad, or she's probably too strong for the current version of Guns, like the frogs. I think we have a frog-looking creature of our own. And yeah, she'll take them out. She takes out a lot of stuff. Adding the second Omicron to her to be able to ignore taunt is just so nice, folks. I feel very nice about it. It's fairly fancy. So maybe even unfairly fancy, to be honest. Okay, so next we have Darth Bane. And he'll be used to kill their Quedme teams, or possibly their Leia teams. Leia has traditionally been a huge problem for this account, and if anyone is going to ask me how the heck I'm going to beat Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano teams, I don't have a great plan for it, folks. I don't think Bane is probably the answer to that. I don't know what is on this account. I don't know if I have something that beats it, honestly, guys. It's a sad state of affairs, but we're going to have to solve it somehow. I'm just not sure how yet. Bane, we might try Bane, though. I'm sure it won't work that well, but for now, Darth Bane can kill at least Leia teams. We probably won't run into too many Glat squads, to be honest. Bane does kill the new... he's not the hotness anymore, but Balin's skull is out there, and he'll get you. Unless you have Darth Bane, then Darth Bane will get him, which is pretty neat. Let's see, we have Seer Malicos, if you want to put Cal on a different squad, or put, I mean, a lot of times you'll have Kylo Ren Unmasked available, and this is the team that's going to probably kill most raid teams that you're facing, or a lot of other teams. I mean, anything that has a revive that needs to stop being revived, Malicos is your man. It's just a good list to take, a good choice to use on a lot of things. You put it on defense, and it gets instantly smitten by a lot of different things, including like weird Padme, like Gidme teams. I don't like this team on defense at all. I guess if it's on defense, you put crew on it, right? That's what you do. You crew it with crew. We're accumulating a good roster here. So, let's see. We have Starkiller and... Palp, Mara, and Starkiller. They will take down Jabba teams if we need them to. I did recently remod my Night Sisters to be able to take out Jabba. That it's questionable, though. Their modding is questionable. Their relics are questionable. Hopefully we'll be facing some questionable Jabba teams. And if we do, that'll be great, because we kind of need it. If not, Starkiller is really good at killing Jabba, actually, in threes. He's really good at taking out certain raid teams. He's just really good with the current Datacron that Starkiller has, where he follows whoever does a single thing on his team, and he just assists. He follows them like a puppy. He's like, who are we going to attack next? Oh, you attacked him, I'll attack him too. Cool, I'll do that too. It's exhausting, just even like quoting him, but he does a lot of work, and he's pretty cool. throwing him on this team and using them for offense to kill Galactic Legends is just the sort of thing we need. Remember, folks, a lot of people I'm facing will have the luxury of using like 7 Galactic Legends for offense, or however many they choose, and they'll still have a decent defense that we have to beat. If they place a lot of people will look at my roster and they'll just place like 7 Galactic Legends on defense and be like, this guy can't clear all that. I don't know if we can clear Glat. Maybe we'll figure out a way. Maybe we won't. But otherwise, we can clear 7 Galactic Legends usually. Usually more, like we've been able to clear 8 before. And even place 1 of our own on defense. So, and now we'll be placing 2 on defense. That'll be, we'll have a good time then. But this is like the Seer Malicos team and the Starkiller team with Palpy and Mara. It's a pretty good. That's like kind of our foundation of being able to beat Galactic Legends. Them, Bane is a good one. Bo-Katan is really good. Yeah, we're equipped, guys. And I'm working on getting Balin. Balin is kind of the priority on this account right now. Well, besides getting, what's his name going? Jabba. Even though I'm only like 7 relic levels away from unlocking Jedi Master Luke, I'm like, I don't have the Zetas for you. I don't have the time or effort. I don't have the ultimate mats, for that matter. And none of you Jedi Master Luke truthers who hate the ultimate on him for some profoundly weird reason, please talk about it in chat, in the comments. That will be great. Thank you for discussing that nonsense with me. Jedi Revan, this is a good opportunistic squad. I love that requirements have made me finally get Jedi Knight Luke up to 7. He's been at 5 for a really long time. So nice. This account has like no bronzium, folks. No bronzium to speak of. Jedi Knight Cal is here because I like my guild and I want them to unlock Zepho. So I do the Zepho mission successfully every time, even without an Omicron. Yes, that is absolutely a brag and a shame if you've gotten the Omicron because you don't think it's possible and your guild thinks you have to have it to be consistent. This account has gotten, I'll just brag for a minute. This account has gotten like, I should have kept track, but it's been like over half a year at least, more than that probably, since I failed that fight. You can do it very consistently at Relic 7, and Seer is Relic 7 without switching mods. You just use the turtle method, guys. Google it sometime, or YouTube, search on YouTube. You'll find the turtle method. I have a video about it. Anyways, the Jedi Revan team, what can it kill? People like to put Zori on defense. This is a really good counter to Zori. You can use it to counter like Maul teams that are placed. You can use it to kill a lot of stuff. We don't have the cool stun cron for Jedi anymore, but sometimes you want to put Mace in there instead of someone. Sometimes you actually take Revan out, use Luke lead, and Mace just hangs out. It is bonkers. It's wild. It's unprecedented. It's pretty good though. The poor fish team, those are like my favorite team ever. Just finally got nerfed a little bit with the new Datacron set pushing out the old. The old set made him a shockingly high-grade fish, and now he's kind of mid-grade. He'll still, with the thing that makes him really awesome this season though is the fact that everyone is gonna want to run troopers. They'll put troopers on defense and they'll reuse them on offense some, but really on defense is the thing we're looking for here. You keep him for offense, and he beats all the Imperial teams that can be dazed. Any team that is capable of being dazed, well, not Lord Vader, but any Empire team, so basically just Troopers teams, like Dark Trooper Moff Gideon teams, and Iden squads. Even sometimes people are crazy and put Veers down. This team, even without good Datacrons, which you have okay ones, you still have Rebel ones, they're just not custom built to destroy everything for you, like the Rogue One ones were that just dusted. This team is still going to be pretty good on offense, just because it has built in, like, cheat codes against Imperial troopers. It is so awesome and fun. Highly recommend you use them, folks. Remember, you can kill Iden first as long as you have that little Spark of Rebellion buff from Radis. If you don't know about that, check it out, guys. It's a real thing. People who come watch my streams on Twitch, which is linked in the video description, by the way, you should do it. People who watch my streams on Twitch are, like, consistently shocked for the first time. They're like, how did you kill Iden first? And it's because of magic, that's all. It's not cheat codes, even though I said it was like cheating. It just feels like cheating. Dash Rendar is a mercenary. So is Vandor, so is L3. They can have the mercenary plus offense, or they can have the mercenary stun when you do a special ability, and they're able to punch way up. They're pretty good. I've known this L3 is good, but I'll say this. I didn't realize how strong she was until kind of recently. Like, her passive buff dispel, or debuff dispel, is really strong against a lot of teams that would otherwise shut this team down. Now, if you really want to lean on it, you're going to need the Omicron for dash, and you're going to need Vander Chewy. You can't just be like, oh, just like, instead of that stupid Wookiee I don't have worked on, and instead of throwing an Omicron on Dash, I'm just going to use Dash with some random other smuggler or Merc. Maybe it'll work, but probably not. Vander Chewy's a pretty important thing, and this Omicron is a strange one because it's kind of required in a way for Vandor. Like, we should almost be applying it to Vandor instead of Dash, because there's no other reason for Dash to have this one. This one is kind of like, it's kind of like the unlock code to be able to use Vander Chewy consistently in GAC. It's very similar to how Baby Cal and his Omicron, it only exists to help Fulcrum Ahsoka do her thing in Territory Wars. Very, very similar. So, anyways, keep him for offense and do some interesting things. You can kill a lot of stuff. Nothing too crazy. Just especially stuff that can stop you from reviving. I would avoid. But he does okay. He just daze people, and he can do a lot of damage and stuff. Things and stuff. Hondo as the third on this team is also a lot of fun. CLS, if you can get the C-3PO Datacron, I suggest you do it. This team slaps pretty good on defense. It does okay on offense, but if you can get the Datacron that lets you have riposte for Chupio, because he assists every single time, the damage really adds up. And 3PO, this team already gets an understated amount of turn meter anyways. I see 3PO getting an extra 25% turn meter every time someone does a special is gonna turbo boost this team. A team that was already kind of turbo boosted. And it probably beats the trooper teams that used to beat it. I'm not sure if it beats Iden. Maybe. Why don't we try it? Okay, Queen Amidala. So we'll probably just put this on defense, guys. Obviously, I've worked on her a little bit. Relic 3 isn't that impressive. Relic 7 on the the Lover Boys. This is a good one to put in the back zone, because your opponent will probably try to use... then you put convincing teams on the bottom, or in the front zone, and when they get to the back, they're like, oh shoot, I already used Bane. I don't know what the heck beats Queen Amidala. And then they just don't beat her, because there's still not a ton of counters out there for her. This will change over time, but right now, this is still a very strong squad, and still does really strong things on defense. Yes, it can do stuff on offense, but it's more fun to trick your opponent into losing if you put this in the back zone and they don't have an answer for it. Mercenaries, once again, we have Bando here. And I think Han's a mercenary too, right? Yeah, he's a mercenary. So, and he's a rebel. Yeah, what a rebel. He's a shrugger too. He likes to shrug. See, watch. Watch. See? He shrugs. Alright. So, he's not a hugger. He's a shrugger. I was trying to think of some joke with the shrubbery. A shruggery. Okay, enough Monty Python nonsense, but this has always been one of my favorite teams anyways. Bando buffs these other two quite a bit. These other two really support him well because Chewbacca does two instances of damage every time he shoots, and Han, of course, double taps with his basic, and so they get him a lot of whistling birds, which in turn deletes your opponents. In threes, it's tough to get enough whistling birds, and it's tough to find a great place for him. Sometimes we want to use him on a team, a bounty hunter team to kill Lord Vader, but I think this, for the next few 3v3s, that might not really be an option because Imperial Troopers have a cool datacron that will probably be making Lord Vader really tough for that bounty hunter comp to win. But we'll see. A lot of people are lazy, just like me, and don't want to actually place a good Lord Vader team or a datacron for them. So, let's see. We have Padme here. Padme is where you would maybe put Cat. You could put Cat, though, with, like, Dash instead of L3. Cat does some really awesome stuff. Cat could go with Rey if you wanted to. Obviously, if you have Jedi Master Kenobi, probably just keep her with him. But for this account, we might just do Cat, Ahsoka, and Kenobi on offense, or maybe we'll put like Gideon there if we want to. This is one of the reasons I like to keep a lot of things for offense, is because I like to mix and match and decide what we need for any given team. And so whereas this team is definitely one good functional squad that I may use, we may end up turning it into something completely weird. Like we might get Shock T here and then add Gideon to give them a bunch of courage right out the gate. And that can be really strong too. Hey, look at this. This whole team is relicked now. And the Piet relic, turns out, is really strong. I don't really have a good team to use him with, though, unfortunately. Yes, he's very strong. I don't know how much he benefits this team, though. This team does get like an unlimited amount of turn meter if you get the dark side 25 plus 25% turn meter cron, and you get grit on the level 6. It almost doesn't matter if you have the Piet cron at or level 9, though that one is actually really strong anyways and can go on a lot of different teams. This squad gets a ton of turn meter. They go first all the time against a lot of stuff. And I think someone was saying, and I didn't do the math myself, so I don't know for sure, but if you have the grit cron that gives a buff at the start, so that you get that from Veers, and then you get plus 25% turn meter. Someone told me that if you have a 360 speed Admiral Piet, which is admittedly very fast, but if you do that, he ends up going at a functional 575 speed, which is only faster or only slower than some Galactic Legends. It's a very quick team, so probably worth looking into, folks. I don't have Stormtrooper worked on this account, so I do randomly do have a Grand Admiral Thrawn, though I do have Gideon, who happens to be a trooper as well. So we're gonna use a Thridian team against some things. I'm hoping that this will be some iterations of the CLS squad. It used to back in the day, though, of course, Stormtrooper was, well, I don't know if it was better or worse than, I randomly have Reva on this account too, but I don't have the Inquisition worked up, so I may as well throw her on this squad and see what happens. That's totally science, though, folks. You can come watch me try it on Twitch. I'm sure I'm going to try it at some point. That'll be fun. And eventually we'll get Thrawn up to Relic 7, because he's required for Senior Scroll. Speaking of scrolling, let's go to the next team. We have Qui-Gon and Anakin. I do about the Lightspeed bundle for Ki-Adi-Mundi. That was pretty neat. We actually have a Zeta on him now, finally. Anakin, I would love to get more relics for. So lots of fun stuff here. Just put him on defense and see what happens. The Bosk team is probably just gonna, I don't think it's strong enough. If you have a Zam, you could go with like Bosk, Dengar, Zam, if she's relicked, and then use the Dengar Cron. Or maybe some mix and match weirdness with Dengar probably is what I'm going to end up doing. Or maybe I'll use Dengar on a different team entirely. This squad is kind of held in reserve to, it'll clean up Lord Vader if you need to do that, if you kill all but him. Like the bounty hunters end up being pretty good at cleaning that up. Sometimes you'll just use Fennec lead with Grief and Mando. Sometimes you use Fennec lead with Grief and Bando from the other squad, who's also going to be on offense, so we can mix and match again. Sometimes we'll use Dengar and Bosk, and sometimes we just won't use any of them. You never know, guys. It's good to be flexible, and they're not good on defense anyways, unless you want to try that Bosk Dengar Zam team. I'm not convinced that team can surprise you, though. It can surprise you. It's not terrible. It's not the best thing ever. One thing that will surprise people is putting Great Mothers on defense. Obviously, I don't have the highest relics. I need to get her up to a 7 anyways for Senior Skull. But yes, Night Sister Spirit's the one that does all the just completely ridiculous damage. You can see I value what she can do because she used to be Relic 3. And I did spend very precious bronzium to get her to 4 because even though the jump from 3 to 4 isn't like just mind-numbingly, amazingly good, I want to get her closer so that next time I can spare another 40. We can bump her up to 5. Would love to get her up to 7 at some point. This team is still pretty good on defense, and it's going to scare people. I would put this on the front zone and let people really sweat over it. Even though we don't have the Night Sisters Cron anymore, I do think this team is going to be at least functional on defense for a while. Now, this is the squad that kills Jabba. Just keep it for offense, and if you don't end up getting to use it, that's fine. It's kind of crap against most other things anyways. And if you don't have them modded the right way against Jabba, I mean, it's fine. In 3s, you use way fewer characters, actually, at the end of the day. It seems like you're using more because there's more teams involved, but in 3s, you use significantly fewer characters if you have a perfect match, of course. If you don't have to attack more than once per team, etc. If you get one-shots all the way through. But it's but it's just nice. You could put this team on defense if you or not on defense. Like you can just bench it if you need to. You don't need them for every single mode, unfortunately. It is what it is, folks. It keeps being diminished. Hilariously, their biggest counter happens to be a Galactic Legend, so that's nice at least. Treya with Savage, they both have their Omicrons. We have Nihilus here. They're great. You can put them on defense if you want. I keep them for offense because they beat like almost everything. This is the team I use to kill Starkiller. This is our really like Starkiller is a huge threat. It's really tough to beat, and sometimes it can feel really struggly if they keep getting stagger on your Nihilus right before Nihilus gets to take a turn, and he just never gets to do his Annihilate. But usually it works out. It just can be a very frustrating fight. A lot of people putting Starkiller on defense for some reason in this squad typically nails it down even with somewhat low relics. Wampa, don't fall into the trap, guys, of someone placing Iden on defense with Snowtrooper and the Snowtrooper Cron. Wampa will get turns, but he won't be able to get through their damage immunity, which is, of course, something that will ruin him eventually. It's tragic and unfair, but it is the truth. You can put these guys on defense, or you can keep the Geobrood Alpha as a plug-and-play tank. He's pretty good at that. Kelleran back. I don't know. Is Plo Koon a good choice here? Almost certainly not. Like, he's just kind of a weird backup at this point. In 3s, like, I much prefer Qui-Gon still. I don't have General Skywalker very good right now, though, so you might just use General Skywalker with his clones. I might still do that. I don't really know. Like, this could be a mediocre defensive team that wastes your Relic 3 General Skywalker. How many people here have General Skywalker at Relics, unlocked and at 7 stars, but only have him Relic 3 or worse? Tell me in the comments. I would be very interested to hear. I get the sense that he's the worst General Skywalker in KYBER 3. Probably in all the land as well. I don't know. I don't use him very well or much. It's very sad. Maul, speaking of not using him very often or well, he's weird in threes. He doesn't have a great place to unless you have Gar and ISC farmed and worked on, which I don't. He does have a Kron right now, so probably just throw him with some Mandos, like Sabine and Django are probably not the very best options, but Maul is built for 5s, 3s. He has some pretty low efficiency wins. The counters that he can use, it's not used for anything crazy. If you have Lotion, aka Luthen, you can use him on the Saw team for much better effect. Captain Rex and Kylo until then can do okay, especially with the Omicron on Saw. This team is fine. They're fine. With Lotion on the team, it's significantly better. Definitely just some Grievous with some random droids. I don't really care who. Some Separatist droids. Put them on defense in the back zone and leave them. Here's the team I'm the most excited about. I still need 2 Zetas for them. But Tuskens, I bought the Lightspeed bundle for them. And it came with 1 Zeta on them, so I had to spend a ton of very valuable Omegas, which you might think I'm being facetious, but I am desperately poor for Omegas. I have like 20 of them right now, guys. I'm not even making that up here. How many? Oh, you guys can't quite see here. Hold on. Look, 27. Not making it up. 27 Omegas, and but we got all the Omegas on that team. So definitely go on defense. Don't put this team on defense unless you have the Omicron. Maybe you can't afford the Omicron. I probably couldn't afford it, but I still bought it because I'm fairly dumb. Now I have 0 Omicrons right now, but it is a really good Omicron, guys. It wins you matches. So this will go. So probably go up top to make people think that they beat me, and they don't. A lot of people don't know how to beat Tuskens still. And there's a new Tusken Datacron that's really good. The Chieftain is the one that has the best one. The other ones are not that good, but anyways, I'm excited to put this on defense because people really struggle against it. They really do. It's pretty good. Ewoks are not that good, but this is my favorite comp for them. Don't bother putting an Omicron on Chirpa. It's not that good, but it's kind of cool. And then if you have the Omicron on Akbar, which I don't recommend at all, but if you did, I'm considering running this silly Akbar Fulcrum team on offense. I don't really know if it's any good at all, but Fulcrum does have one move that she's going to be spamming quite a bit anyways, that's non-attacking, which is the fuel that drives the Akbar team with the Omicron. So we're going to see if we can find a team to use this on. There's no guarantees, but if we can use Fulcrum with her really fancy Datacron, Datacron, it might end up being really good. So it might also just not be good at all. But we'll probably try it at least once this season, if not more. So stay tuned, folks. Anyways, that's what I've got for you today. A little less than an hour this time, but it should be a fun season, I think. I always really enjoy the GACs on this account because they kind of harken to a more simple time, facing off against rosters that don't just totally, completely dominate mine. They do, in fact, dominate mine, but they don't know how to place their defenses, so we're able to outmaneuver them. It feels a little bit like that quote in episode 6 where Lando's like, we might just we'll last longer than we will against that Death Star. We might just take a few of them with us, kind of thing. So anyways, that's it, folks. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Please help me mount the algorithm. It is hugely appreciated. Guys, if you've made it this long, you are amazing. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. And he hopes you do too. He told me.